The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Friday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. We kick things off with markets in positive territory. S&P's right now up by about 0.5%. Quite the acceleration yesterday, up to 57.41. Markets sold off towards the end of the session, and right now, kind of in the middle of that range from yesterday. We're up by 25 points at 57.09. NASDAQ 100, we're up by 105 points, up 0.5%, 20,254 right now. Dow up 139 points, up 0.4%, 41,607, and the Russell barely in the positive as well. How about Bitcoin? 104,000 yesterday, right on the heels of that $110,000 high made in January. Remarkable resurgence in Bitcoin, but considering the context of that whole environment right now, it makes sense. And boy, you talk about yields, you talk about the dollar yesterday, right? We got higher yield coming at you, 4.39%, and look at that move. Look at that move, right? The whole day. From when I was on the air at 9:45, you're at 111.15. You trade down almost a full point to 110.22, and we're right off that level at 4.39%. And watch this dollar, baby, because that is some strength. How about from 99 to 101? Just like that. Now, we're giving up some of that today. But, boy, you talk about a decisive break. You talk about a very important technical area. That's how you want to see something break away, folks. I mean, right now, the trend is higher yield, dollar strength. That's what's coming. Look at this important technical area we're at. How many times have we bounced, right? Let's go back even further. Since you broke through this area, when we had the Fed beginning to hike, that whole acceleration from 90 to 115, my goodness, right? 25 points to the upside. Look at this area. We're talking about being here for 2+ years. We made a low of 100.82 in January of 23, and I think we just hit that yesterday. 100.86, right? Remarkable. 100.82 is the low. We hit it 100.86. You're bumping up against it. We hit that area in April. You got down to an even number of about 199 and change. So important technical area, and boy, that was a big break. We'll see what happens today. Will we get some follow-through? A lot going on. China in focus, of course. We'll get to that in a moment. But yes, China in focus, of course. With a stronger dollar, yesterday, some weakness in gold. But gold behaving very well. I mean, you look at the strength in the dollar. Now, yeah, we've gone from 34.20 down to 32.80. But today, we're back up $31, up a full percent at 33.37 right now in that gold contract. All right. And let's get over the headline of the morning. 80% seems about right. So when you go into any negotiation, okay, you want to set where's the starting point, right? So important. Whether, I've been dealing with a lot of real estate lately. So important where the negotiations begin, okay? I see it all the time in real estate right now. People try and, whether you put something up for sale, their first bid, right, your first offer, where's the beginning point? The beginning point is so crucial in any negotiation. Well, you have President Trump talking about that China should open up the markets to the USA, would be good for them. But the big one here, 80% tariff on China seems right. Up to Scotty B. We'll see. Those negotiations taking place this weekend. I don't think China's going to go for 80%, okay? And I think we all know that. And so where do they go from here? Well, we'll find out, man. The negotiations go on this weekend, and we're going to get some Fed speak coming up as well. You have John Williams, the FOMC president from New York. He'll be speaking at 9:15. Expect him to reiterate what the chairman said, folks, okay? It's normal, reasonable banter. You take the politics out of everything, okay? And the Fed's saying, of course it's going to matter where the tariffs. They have no idea right now what the actual policies are. That's the problem with the market as well. No idea what the actual policies are. So where do we go from there? Okay. And it seems like from Chairman Powell, man, he is on pause right now. And as he stated, it's going to matter, right? What kind of tariffs, how far they are, the details matter, etc. So we'll hear from him, but I expect him to reiterate. I think the chairman wouldn't be coming out Wednesday with that type of a message saying, listen, we have ample room to cut if we need to. Okay, we're well positioned. And exactly like he said it, folks, okay, the risk of waiting, and he gave a caveat, in my opinion, okay, because it's all just opinion. Of course it is. It's conjecture of the future. But that's the business we're in, okay? And the business they're in is, in his opinion, the risks to waiting are low. Yeah, this market's doing well, man. Jobs are doing well. Wages are doing well. Unemployment's doing well. Earnings, so far okay. And we'll see if that carries through. But nonetheless, market's in positive territory this morning. But yeah, keep your eye on yields, man, because one thing I keep finding myself thinking across the board, okay, is, you know what? What if the market got it right on the first move? What if the market got it right on the first move? I can't believe I got to go back a little bit further than this. Okay? And when I say got it right on the first move, I'm talking about the move from 115 to 107. Okay? What if the market got it right and then we had all this volatility having to do with the tariffs? Right? What if the move to higher yield and dollar strength, when you had the move going all the way down to 107, we have a pretty decisive move right now. We're at 110.28, lower price, higher yield. And in the same way, okay, what if the move was right on the dollar? And we had all this weakness around the tariffs. Best case scenario, you take some of that volatility, uncertainty, and weakness out of the equation on the dollar, and maybe the move was right. We're going to get to see it play out, but that's what happened yesterday, okay? We got the 10-year at 4.4% almost. We got the dollar breaking above 100 right now. And yeah, remember how quickly that can move if that's where it goes. Just one thing I'm putting out there, because we're at 4.4%. 4.4%, this market can handle 4.4%. Okay, going forward, you know, you put things in context, right? Lending the U.S. government your money for 10 years at 4.4%, I could see investors demanding a higher return, to put it lightly, for that type of transaction. So we'll see where we go. All right, we'll jump over to that gold contract. Just chopping around at that 100% mark. Okay, we did a 1-to-1, A to B, C to D. You got to back it up a little bit further in the year. Begins in February last year. A to B, your B point in October. Slight pullback. You accelerate again. Now, on a weekly basis, we get some volume right now, right? Look at that volume, man. Absolutely remarkable that you're doing as much volume as the week of the 21st when you peaked out. Because when you look at this gold contract on a daily, okay, check out those 2 days when we peaked out and we pulled back from those highs. 408,000 contracts, 367,000 contracts. Yesterday, 300,000. It was a big day in gold. And yeah, yields did it, dollar movement. That was a big day when you're talking about yields and the dollar. And that is driving so much of the conversation right now. Yields and the dollar. So, see what happens. All right, S&Ps. We got 15 minutes to go until the opening bell. We're up by 23 points right now at 57.08. And the market pricing in some optimism. Talks with China. But what's going to happen? 80%? Oof, we got the devil's in the details, folks, and I don't know if they're going to agree on those details, but talking is good nonetheless. S&P's up by 23, markets in the green. We got a lot to talk about. Stay tuned, folks. We'll come right back. If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Welcome back, folks. Taking a look at the price and volume action. So let's push up this volume action. We got markets in positive territory right now. You know, what you can see here is, okay, pretty muted volume. Every time we get a little spike, we pull back. But, boy, you still compare these volume numbers, right? What are we chopping around at? About 1.2 million contracts in the S&P about? Folks, we were doing 2 million contracts for 3 straight weeks on that pull lower, right? 2 million contracts, 3 straight weeks. Now we're chopping around at, what, 1 million contracts? 1.2, 1.1, 1.1, dramatically lighter volume. You jump over the NASDAQ 100, it's even more pronounced. Yesterday's volume was even lighter, and you see the volume dips, right? Dipping to a low volume number of 408,000 contracts. You're probably chopping around at, what, 550 to 600,000 contracts in the NASDAQ 100. Compare that to the fact that we did 700,000 plus contracts for 3 straight weeks. We got a lot going on these lines, but nonetheless. Okay, we jump around to what else we got going on. So we're talking Fed here. Yeah, the market's going to be ready, man. The Fed, they got plenty of, just like Chairman Powell, they are well positioned. Okay, and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York plans on making early settlement operations for a key liquidity facility part of the regular schedule in a bid to enhance the tool and support smooth market functioning. Yeah, scheduling the tweak, which allows eligible banks and primary dealers to borrow funds overnight in exchange for Treasury and agency debt, will take place in the not-too-distant future. They're making sure the pipes are working, man. Where possible, Fed staff will continue to look for ways to improve the efficacy of that program. He said Friday. Yeah, and you better believe there was some volatility around those tariffs. So they have ample room to come in there. All right, what else do we got in this market? So, talking about China. Exports to the U.S., down about 21%. Everywhere else, accelerating. And that's one of the arguments here, in terms of making a deal, not cutting them off. They'll start making ties with everybody else, etc. China's exports rose more than forecast in April, even though you got that huge slump to the U.S. So the U.S. is in pink here. The EU's in blue. And then you have the Asian in yellow. And yeah, you talk about an acceleration. So China imports from the U.S. fell almost 14% last month, and shipments to the U.S. fell 21%. Total exports expanding 8.1% last month. Now, these are April. We'll see how May, we'll see how June goes, okay? Yeah, they were up 12% in March, up 8%. Maybe you get a little bit of a rollover. How about India? Soaring by more than 20%. They got to find somebody to buy those goods if they're not shipping them to the U.S., right? So we'll see that story play out. We're in the early days of that one. You talk about the details, right? The EU, no side deals or shortcuts on trade negotiations. And this is the problem. Trade negotiations take years to play out. Okay, it's always the devil's in the details. That's the expression because it is. Everyone can get general agreements. It's always in the details of how it plays out. And you're talking about trade deals that take years. And yeah, we'll see if it plays out. Yeah. This won't be possible with other EU nations that are members of the EU because we can and want to act only united. So you're not going to piecemeal this. He had the impression that Trump understood and accepted that fact. We'll see if that plays out. I told him from my point of view, it's not a good idea to escalate this trade dispute. My strong conviction is zero tariffs would be best. Well, I don't think that's how Trump feels right now. And yeah, he wants details. If I go to the White House, I want a package. It has to be concrete. I want to have a solution we can agree on. This is the work we're doing right now. It's just the details. Yeah. So that's a tough one, man. That is going to be something hanging over this market. And we're going to be coming into an interesting open, man. We got highs out here about 20,337 in the NASDAQ 100. You got highs yesterday in the S&Ps at about 57.41. Russell barely in the red right now at 2,034. And yeah, how about Bitcoin, man? Let's take a look at Bitcoin for a second. So you pull right back to the 618. Right, check that out. Let's push it down a little bit. Right back to the 618. You almost touched that line perfectly. And look, if you cherry pick the lines, let's push that one up a little higher. Look at that. Gotta love it, man. And folks, if you're interested, Larry Pesavento, he's doing his live trading in there right now. Look at that, man. Bitcoin 618 and boom, you take off to the upside and we're challenging the highs. Now you're coming into a consolidation area, man. You were in this consolidation area from shortly after the election, November 20th. All the way to February 24th. Yeah, so you're talking about, 3 months? You were chopping around at this area. We're pushing through those highs right now. Bitcoin up another 1.7% right now. Ethereum. Yeah, how about all crypto not created equal? Look at this one. Man. This is, it's a story of buyer beware. The same thing happening with Ethereum could be happening in Bitcoin, folks, at some point. Why is Ethereum trading at 50% of the value that it was trading at the highs of 2021? Why is Ethereum trading at, 60% of the value that it was at in December? You got to be careful in this market. It's all what you can sell it to the next person for. And listen, I hold some Bitcoin in the longer term, okay? But that's a risk you better believe in. Because you can make the case that you need Bitcoin in the future, okay? But the thing that's tough here is that there's only a certain supply of Bitcoin, 21 million, whatever that number is. And you really don't need a Bitcoin because you can break things down fractionally. So what is the need for a Bitcoin to be at 103,000 if you need Bitcoin and you can just buy a fraction of a penny? You can buy 1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin. Right? That is an argument that you gotta address on a longer term basis, you can still own Bitcoin, you can own it in a fraction, and it can still function as a store of value on the crypto chain, the crypto blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain. But that's something I'm always out there looking. You know, you want to buy gold, you want to keep gold forever, you want to give it to your grandkids, no problem, okay? That's not how you can trade Bitcoin, folks. There's no reason why Bitcoin can't get taken out as the first to market and be the default. And there's no reason why Bitcoin can't trade at 10,000. I mean, imagine, right? Bitcoin trades at 10,000, and that's fine. That doesn't matter. It's the same exact thing. You just move the decimal point on what you own. And I'm digressing. But that's part of what's going on in that market that always makes, and listen, you could do it at 10,000, you could do it at 50, you could do it at 100. We could have this conversation when it's at 1 million. Okay? But there is that element. At some point, it becomes replaceable, like anything else, when all you're doing is find somebody else that may buy it. All right, folks, come back. We'll come back for the opening bell. S&P's up by 18. Russell flat. We'll be right back.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, traversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs? Trade wars? Analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Folks, we got equities open, stock market opening bell, and we get the market up in positive territory. S&P's little volatility coming into that opening bell. We're up by 20 points. NASDAQ 100 up by 103. All of the markets in the green right now. We jump over to the dollar. See if we get some follow through. You're giving back some of those gains. We were all the way up to 100.86, even towards the close yesterday, pushing 100.60 or 70, and we backed off a bit to 100.30, still well above that 100 price point. Check out that gold contract. Gold catching a little bit of a bid on the dollar pullback right there, and we take a look at yields. Yeah, sitting right at about 4.39, maybe 4.38 right now as you rise up a bit. All right, this one, interesting one. Talking about from the Journal. So, this one out early this morning. I was checking this out, getting ready for the program. And listen, we're familiar with it in Tampa, man. Vinnick, Bill Gates, they built a whole 50-acre development in Tampa, and it did revitalize the whole area. Cities turned to sports stadiums to snap out a downtown doom loop. Okay, and they talk about Washington, D.C.'s $3.8 billion agreement, just one of dozens of stadium-based real estate deals in the works across the U.S. And yeah, when they're talking about this deal, $3.8 billion agreement, a new $65,000 seat football stadium for the Washington Commanders. The team owner, who's also a private equity exec, $2.7 billion, okay, which the mayor said would be the single largest private investment in district history. The city's going to kick in $1.1 billion. Pretty remarkable. The city always has to kick in money to these private equity execs that are going to probably make billions of dollars, but nonetheless, that's how it seems to play out. 180-acre development proposal. And I get it, okay? They're going to reap rewards greater than $1.1 billion, but still, it is subsidizing. That is government subsidies for private equity execs that have $2.7 billion. It's not how it works on the lower basis, folks, okay? Nobody else, I don't get to go to the city of St. Petersburg and say, hey, I'm only going to build this house if you give me 20% of my cost. It would be a good thing for St. Pete in that same way. They're still not going to do it, okay? And we all know how that goes. But yeah, how about the Athletics? $1.7 billion, but guess what? They got a 3,005-room casino. That'll do it. Tennessee, $2.2 billion. Now, what it reminded me of, and I was just going through some of these articles, okay, talking about Gates and Vinnick. And yeah, so check out some of these headlines going back. I was just Googling headlines. You're talking about, this one's from 2016. Bill Gates, Jeff Vinnick. Now, Vinnick was the owner of the Lightning, okay? And he was a big Fidelity guy, right? I think did he run Magellan? He might have. And when I lived in, Magellan. When I lived in Weston, Mass, my dad and I, when I was going to high school, so I'm talking about 1997, okay? I wonder when he ran Magellan, because I remember, man, Weston, Mass, very fortunate, lived in Weston, Mass. They had some players, man, would go to church on Sundays, and I think it was Vinnick and Jeff Lynn. It was a couple of them, and they were sitting in the same church, nonetheless. So I was hearing about him back then. Then he comes in, buys the Lightning, and yeah, they built a 50-acre area around Water Street in Tampa, folks, okay? And trying to building half a city, some of them, okay? Check out this one, right? Building half a city. Now, Buckhorn was the mayor of Tampa. Vinnick was the owner there. Gates Foundation came in with a huge investment. Yeah, and it started at 25 acres, right? Because in 2014, it started at 25 acres. It's at about 50 acres. This one's from 2020. All right. This one is from 2016, I think, where they start talking about it. And I remember this is happening. Folks, the area is beautiful. You should see the skyline and what they've done. Okay. It's absolutely amazing the way they've built it. And you can see why it makes sense across the board. Yeah. And that's a 2017 article. And this just talks about it. Yeah. Over the next 15 years, there could be more than $100 billion in investment opportunity for sports-anchored mixed-use districts. It makes sense. Yeah, look at all of them. The Bears, yeah, they need a nice stadium. Look at that one, right? $4.7 billion. 14-acre park space in there. You got a nice skating rink. And then you get D.C. in there that they start things off with. They don't mention Tampa, but they should. But yeah, keep an eye on those, man, because you see those coming in, that area blows up. Get in on the area, the whole area of Tampa, the downtown. It is remarkable. Now, I've been down here 20 years, which is remarkable in its own right. About 2005, I moved down here. I was a quarter century. I'm not a quarter century anymore. I'm almost half a century. But 25 I was when I moved down about 20 years ago. And so I moved down in 2005, bought a place in Tampa about 2014. And so I've seen it all. Bought a place in Tampa 2014, man. I used to ride my bike. I used to get single tickets down to the Lightning. And yeah, the whole area just completely blew up. So if you have access to those types of areas, that is a winning formula, and you can see why cities are going for it. It's a whole change in what we do, right? Even like malls, Class A office, Class A malls, they have to be a destination. Okay, so they're building that destination. I mean, it's just like Gillette, right? What does Gillette have? What do they call it out? Gillette Park? What's all the stores next to Gillette, right? Stadium, nearby. What do they call it? Patriot Place. There we go. 1.3 million square feet of shopping, dining, and entertainment. How many acres is that? But nonetheless, you see it. That's the way it plays out, and that's the way things are going. It makes sense. All right, this market just kicking things off, chopping around where we are. You're pushing the pre-market session highs before that Trump tweet out there, and that is the spot we're coming right back up to. We were sitting at just about this price level. Trump tweets out that 80% sounds about right, and I say tweet out. He's on Truth Social. Nonetheless, you drive down, you get it back. We're pushing the highs, 57.08 right now. Optimism coming into this market. You got the Russell catching a little bit of a bid as well. All right, let's check out how some of the biggest equities out there are trading this morning. I got Microsoft, man. Quite a ride yesterday. You're up by about 0.3% this morning. Now, Amazon, they're pushing the highs back again. They traded lower on the China, 80%. Probably not what they want to hear, 80%. But nonetheless, Amazon up by 1% right now. Google, we talked about Google yesterday. They're losing out in search, but nonetheless, up by 0.4% right now. We jump over to Tesla shares. There you go. Tesla up by 5%, up $13 to $298 right now. GM up 0.4%. Ford right now up 1.8. Jump to some retail. Walmart down 0.6% right now. Target shares in the positive barely. Look at Kohl's catching a little bit of a bid. Kohl's trades higher yesterday. You know, every time you want to find a bid on these things, right? And I say these things like Kohl's, JetBlue, some of these equities, they're just dramatically trading lower. Go a little big picture, right? Because when you go small picture, oh boy, that looks nice. Look at that bounce, right? Look at that bounce. We're up from, folks, we're up by 10% from where we were on Wednesday. Pull up a weekly. You can't even see a pop from $55 down to $6. Pull up a monthly, and it's like, why would you ever look at this stock? Right? We're well below where we were at the COVID lows. That low was $11. We're at $7. And yeah, Kohl's is in trouble, man. As I talk about it before, what's their place? What's their place? They're not a discounter. They might want to be a discounter, but the prices they charge on Nike products, not a discounter. And then JetBlue, check them out. Another dog. Yeah, they caught a bid recently too. Look at this. JetBlue up 1.5%. But how about putting that thing on a monthly? At least you get your back against the wall. Stay tuned, folks. We're coming back. S&P's up by 23. Don't go away.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the Opening Call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening Call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&Ps up by 18 right now. NASDAQ 100 up by 97. Jumping back to the markets. Yeah, how about that monthly? Last month, right? Whew, you talk about a monthly, man. You get it all back just like that on the S&Ps. NASDAQ 100. Similar action. You actually turn green on that month on a monthly basis. But today, market's chopping around in the green right now. And yeah, you got to talk about it, right? We got a new pope, man, from Villanova University, a math major. Do you know what? Do you know how smart you got to be a math major in college, folks? I love math. College math, it's a different universe than high school math, and I love math. Took AP Calculus, placed out of Calculus when I got to Villanova. I was actually fortunate. I think I got to skip Intro to Calculus because of the AP. My first freshman year, I was taking statistics, filled with upperclassmen because it was a second level. I loved it. Guess what? Math majors still blew me away in terms of the type of next level that you talked about. And interesting how Villanova, the first Augustinian friar, yeah, and it is, so Villanova is Augustinian. And so, yeah, we would go there. You had to take a couple of theology classes while I was there. I was at the business school. I graduated in 2002, and he was hanging out, man. He was hanging out there, I think, in the 60s, right? Let's see. Joined the Order of St. Augustine in 1977. No, he received a Bachelor of Science in Math in 1977. Okay. Yeah, and then he went on and earned a Master of Divinity from Catholic Theological Union in Chicago, the Windy City. So the 70s. He was there from what, 73 to 77. He was hanging out in the quad. He was hanging out on Villanova. Pretty cool, man. First American Pope, and remarkable, he comes from Villanova. If you're ever in the market for a beautiful college, great institution around the Philadelphia area, check out Villanova, folks. I love that school. I was there for about 4 years. Where was I going? Yeah, there for 4 years. Great institution. Oh, I was there when there were about 4,400 people was what were there. So a small school in terms of a college, but beautiful area. Was in the president of the Iota Omicron chapter of Alpha Tau Omega. Got any Alpha Tau Omega brothers out there? Let me know. Great institution near Philly. So we had some fun stomping grounds out there. Fun story. It's all fun story. Here we go. We'll digress. We have our semi-formal one year, or our formal. When you're in a fraternity of Villanova, you would have semi-formals and formals. You'd have 2 a year. You'd have a formal. You go rent a place, etc. And we had Atlantic City was not that far. So a lot of times you take a weekend trip, you're down at Villanova, just outside of Philly, about a 2-hour ride to Atlantic City. At that time, I'm talking 1999, 2001, 2002, Trump AC. Okay, so we have our formal at Trump Tower, or whatever it's called, Trump Casino and AC, before that casino goes bankrupt, belly up, whatever happens. But nonetheless, we're going there. It's a quick story, right? This is a good one. Never forget it. Some stories you never forget, right? Luck on your side. Timing can be everything. So we get there. We have a formal. And what happens is you pay your dues as a fraternity, and then you pay some extra fees sometimes for the formal if you're going. But it's a fun thing. You got all the brothers there. You can bring dates. It's an open bar. You got a band. It's a great time, right? So we get there early. We all get rooms. We get there early. And listen, I'm in college. I'm like 21, 22 years old. I think I bring with me $300 to do a little gambling. A lot of money in college at that time, okay? To put things in context, folks, right? This is great. Gold at that time was $280 or something. I'm going to check it out when I was graduating. Watch this. So imagine bringing $300 with you to gamble. That's like bringing an ounce of gold with you to gamble. Look at it. I know it because look. All right, you back it up. I graduated in 2002. So there it is. 2001 is trading at 282, 292. So I bring 1 ounce of gold with me to go gambling in cash. Right? But for some context, a lot of money at that time. Let's say it's my senior year. I think it's my senior year formal, whatever it is, right? You go out with a bang, go out, have some fun. So before dinner, you sit down, and I think I make $200. Like, this is amazing, right? We're golden. We're golden, baby. Put it in my pocket. You go have our formal. We have dinner. We got open bar, good band. We're hanging out. Everyone goes gambling afterwards. Well, long story short, never gamble when you have alcohol. That's why they give you free booze in casinos, folks. Of course, you know how the story's going to go, right? I lose the 200, I'm up. I lose the $200 or $300 I brought with me, okay? It's like 4 or 5 in the morning, literally 4 or 5 in the morning. I think I got $20 left in my pocket. One of my fraternity brothers, one of my good friends, he says to me, hey, I got $5 left. I'm going to go put it in a slot before we go upstairs. I said, no problem. I lost what I had. Go put it in. We'll head upstairs. We'll get out of here. And I said, well, he's going to go play $5 on slots. I'll go put my last $20 on blackjack, right? So I walk up to a table, and granted, this is Saturday night in AC. It's like 4 in the morning, 3, 4 in the morning, something like that. Place still crowded. So I sit down at the table. There's 3 or 4 people next to me playing, and I put the $20 down, and I win. It's to 40. I say, okay. I put the $40 down. I win. It's to 80. I say, okay. I put the $80 down. I win. It goes to 160. I say, okay, hold on a second. I pull it back, and I think I bet $10 or $20, whatever the minimum on the table is. So I'm like, 160. Hey, I almost got my initial investment back here, right? I think I lost one hand, went down to 150. Lost one hand again, went down to 140. I was like, boom, we're doing it again. I put the 140 up. I go to 280. I put the 280 right back up. I go to 560, and I go, I'm done. And I walk, and my table goes, what the heck just happened, man? I go, yeah, I know. Isn't that cool? Now, don't do that, folks, okay? 99 times out of 100, you're just going to lose that last $20. But it is funny how stories stick, right? Good old formal in college, having a good time. And, yeah, it was quite a run, man. 20 to 560 in like 4 minutes. And, hey, that's the power of consecutive probabilities. But guess what? They all run out. Every story ends well until the last one. That's what they say in poker, folks, okay? You get people that go all in all the time. They go all in. They're gambling, right? They're going all in. They're going all in. And you'll say to them, hey, that's a great trick. Works every time until the last time, right? Works every time until it doesn't work. If you're putting all your chips on the table, it works every time until the last time. And guess what? The last time comes eventually, right? Those odds play out. Don't put all your chips in one basket. That'll be the story of that one. Yeah, right? Talk about it, man. I got lucky on formal night. Hey, $560, man. I felt like I was king of the world. King of the world that night. And I was $20 to 560. What are the odds of that? About 1 in 30, right? I mean, it's almost a 30 multiplier. 1 in 30 times. It's simple math. You take 20 up to 600, you 30 times your money, it's a 1 out of 30. Guess what? The odds were against me in blackjack, so it's even less than that, right? 1 out of 40 times, I'm going to walk up and I'm going to lose my $20. But as we all know, and that's the scary part of gambling, investing, okay? You lose a big sum, folks. We're jumping around, but why not? So much of trading is mental. You lose a big sum. Your brain has a difficult nature. You know, you lose 10 grand out there in a trade. Somehow your brain will say, well, if I just lose 1,000 more, it's not really bad because I've already lost 10,000, right? Take some breaks from trading, whether you're winning or you're losing. You win 20 grand on a trade, You say to yourself, I lost $2,000. Not really a big deal because I just made 20 grand. If you take a break and you come back the next day, your brain's like, hey, $2,000 is $2,000, man. That's a rent payment. Take some breaks, whether you're winning or whether you're losing, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Maybe if you're at your formal and you're 22 years old and it's only $200. Stay tuned, folks. We're coming right back for the end of the show.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. Markets deteriorating a bit. Pulling back from those highs, and yeah, pretty interesting. We touched that high. We were coming into that Trump news right there at 57.10. We're trading right now just off that price level, but yeah, chopping around. NASDAQ 100 up by 75. Jump around to some of the biggest equities out there. Apple up by 0.8% right now. Microsoft flat. They get back some of the gains. Amazon get back some of the gains as well. Still up by about 0.6% right now. Walmart in the negative by 0.3%. They don't want to hear 80% tariffs. Target in the positive by about 0.6%. We jump back to gold. Gold up by 1% to 33.38, and it is interesting, man. When you talk about ETFs, the ETF of everything, in terms of single stock ETFs, bearish ETFs, whatever it be. But guess what? Now we're going to have versus ETFs. Wall Street brings the Bitcoin versus gold clash to ETF masses. And I like the trades. It's, what ETFs do, which is so great, folks, okay, and you got to understand what you're doing, is they bring sophisticated trading in simple ways to the masses. Now, you're paying a fee for that, okay? You got to watch the fees if you're holding things long-term. But if you're trading short-term, they're great. Investors in Wall Street have always been able to achieve these types of trades through sophisticated vehicles that usually was only open to high net worth investors, and now they're bringing it here. But yes, Tidal Financial, okay? They're going to launch a pair of long-short trades pitting the world's biggest crypto, Bitcoin, against gold, offering investors a high-conviction bet on the best alternative hedge in one fell swoop. And yeah, it's going to monetize the long-running debate, right? Where are you going to? You going to Bitcoin? You going to gold? Where do you think? Which one? You're not buying Bitcoin. You're buying Bitcoin versus gold. You're not buying gold. You're buying gold versus Bitcoin. Yet another twist on things. Another way to trade. Another way for them to get your fees in the financial arena, though, too, as well. All right, folks, what did I do here? Okay, folks, S&P's up by 16, NASDAQ 100 up by 83, Dow up by 62. Folks, thanks so much for kicking your Friday off right here. Have a great day. Have a safe day, folks. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday, everybody. Stay tuned. Basil Chapman is coming up next, folks. Thanks. We might have...